Hi, everybody, and welcome to Pop Therapy, a podcast where we explore the intersection between psychology and pop culture. There's so much to unpack. So let's get started. Well, look who's back. It's me, your friendly neighborhood therapist. Although now I'm wondering if I should do kind of a different intro now where I'm like, instead of your friendly neighborhood therapist, maybe I say I'm pop culture's individual therapist. I don't know. I'm not too sure. I'm sort of playing around. I'm playing with form that way. One of the things that I wanted to talk about today, and this will make sense when I bring my guest in. You're not yet, guest. One of the things that I wanted to talk about today was couples therapy, generally just how great it's been. And I cannot recommend couples therapy enough, especially for, really any couple, honestly, but especially if you are past the honeymoon phase, but have not yet reached that point where you want to strangle each other yet. I feel like that's the sweet spot. I've learned so much. I know that my boyfriend's really been enjoying it as well. There was just so many things I did not think would come up for me that have been coming up for me in the best way, in the most healing way possible. I obviously am not going to tell you guys who our couples therapist is because she's ours, but it's a she, and I'm pretty sure she's a lesbian. I'm actually not sure. Not that it matters, but it is something we're wondering if she's queer or not. When my guest comes in, I think I'll ask him his thoughts and see what he thinks about that. Therapists in pop culture are interesting. I feel like it's pretty dichotomous. Okay, I'm a genius. It's pretty dichotomous, meaning on one end, they're super put together. They have all the answers. They are full of wisdom. And they're kind of, I guess, an upstanding citizen, so to speak, an aspirational human being, or they are messes, in the extreme sense. There was a show on Netflix years ago called Gypsy, I believe is the name of it, with Naomi Watts, where she plays a therapist who basically infiltrates her clients' lives and kind of ruins them, or she's definitely just manipulating her clients and using the information to gain access to her client's ex-girlfriend and stuff like that. So it's pretty stalkery, obviously. It's pretty problematic as a therapist. But I feel like those are the only two depictions of therapists out there. Sure, I'm sure there's In Treatment, I think, does a fairly good job of showing a therapist that's complex and human. But for the most part, I tend to find that therapists in pop culture are one of two things. They're either just the angel or the devil, just absolute raging lunatic. This will also make sense when I bring my guest in, which I guess now is a good time to bring him in. What do I say about this guest? I am so excited to have him on. I've been basically threatening him that he needs to come on the pod. You know him. You love him. Please welcome into your hearts, Michael J. Russo.
Hey.
Hey, for those of you that don't know, this is my boyfriend, partner, whatever. I don't know. Do you have a preference, partner or boyfriend?
I like boyfriend.
Yeah, it doesn't sound too juvenile to you. Sometimes I worry that it sounds like we're in high school and you're my senior boyfriend.
No, I like the opposite. I feel like boyfriend, partner is you say partner because you can't say boyfriend is how I feel. So boyfriend is oh, amazing. We can actually say boyfriend confidently and not feel like we have to sugarcoat it by saying life partner or something like that.
Yeah, we don't have to hide, okay?
Yeah.
We don't have to hide our love for one another. So first things first, name your top 5 favorite things about me. Go. I'm kidding. Don't. So one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you on, Michael, was to talk a little bit about basically your experience dating a therapist, being my boyfriend. I've gotten the sense over the years that whenever you tell people that you are dating a therapist or when it comes up, that people are kind of, I don't know if surprised is the right word, but intrigued and they have questions for you, I would imagine, or they're like, oh, what is it like? Is it like this? And I'm sure they sort of like project these assumptions or ideals or ideas onto you and what it must be like to date a therapist. Am I getting that right? It's like, generally speaking, how would you describe that experience when you tell people like, oh yeah, I'm dating a therapist?
No, yeah, it's definitely people have a reaction, I feel like, yes, it's definitely not like just I'm dating a guy in finance or whatever. It's definitely a more unique reaction, I feel like. Pretty consistent reactions. I feel like everyone has kind of the same types of questions or assumptions. And it's more like they ask me a question feeling like they know the answer already. And they're just waiting for me to validate exactly what they think. It's like, oh, dating a therapist must be like XYZ. So they're waiting for me to say XYZ.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of like, oh, no, it's actually like this. And they're like, oh.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're not even convinced. They're just like, oh, Mike said that. But I think it's the other way. You know what I mean? So,
that's funny. So they ask you a question with an answer kind of already in mind. And you're like, no, it's not like that. My immediate thought was, oh, are they coming to you thinking like, oh my God, it must be great? And you're like, no, it's literally hell.
I don't think they assume great. I think that's not
really.
Yeah.
Oh, so the assumption. I don't know, because I've never dated a therapist, so I don't know. I've never been on your end.
I guess on the flip side, is it like when people hear, I mean, when they think of you dating, are they like, oh, you're a therapist, you must be the perfect boyfriend?
Pretty much.
Like
that's the sense.
Okay.
That's the sense I get, that they're like, oh, you're a therapist, you must be able to like navigate conflict really well. And you must be able to, you must have like such high EQ. And oh my gosh, your boyfriend your boyfriend's like so lucky to have someone he can talk to. And basically they're thinking, free therapy. How amazing.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay.
But for you, you feel like it's the opposite.
Not that they think like, oh, dating a therapist must be horrible, but they think it must be challenging in the way that is like, oh, that must be like you are like constantly on trial or something like that, where it's like, oh, it must be hard to date a therapist because like, how can you then argue and win, because they must know all the ins and outs of an argument or like whatever.
Oh,
and
interesting.
So it's definitely more like, oh boy, that must be tough.
Yeah, it's more
not like
oh boy.
Yeah. Not like it must be so perfect.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. And that's funny. Yeah, that they think like, oh my God, it must be so hard to win, because it is so hard to win. So you can go back and tell them they're absolutely right.
To your point though, like I think what you were saying earlier, like in pop culture, how therapists are like whatever represented, they're either kind of like this perfect kind of model citizen. Mm-hmm. So I think when people hear, oh, you're dating a model citizen, it must be hard to then compare yourself to a model citizen.
That makes sense. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think it's
like, oh, you're dating a saint. Like how, like, oh my gosh, how can you bear that? Right. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have another question for you before we move on to our really fun little, what is it? It's not a game, but our segment. Do you think our couples therapist is queer?
I do. I assume everybody is queer, which I have been increasingly like more wrong about lately.
I know straight people are everywhere.
I know, unfortunately, but it is.
My parents are straight. Your parents are straight.
Yeah. So I assume she's queer, but if she were to tell me that she was straight, I would be like, oh, you got me, girl.
Yeah.
But that's like, otherwise, she hasn't said anything about her life at all.
I know. And you better believe I listen. I am like, I wonder if she'll drop a little something.
Yeah. And we've talked about, I feel like, specifically gay things. Mm-hmm. And she doesn't necessarily like flinch at all. So
Not
I'm
even
like,
close.
Okay, you've heard of Fire Island, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything.
Right.
So like, I don't know.
They are like clues, I feel like, though. But you're absolutely right. She does not bat an eye. And it could be that she's just so good at her job that she knows that her poker face is absolutely flawless. Or she's heard this all before, either because she's queer herself or because she's had so many queer clients that she's like, oh yeah, you're like the millionth couple to talk about Fire Island. That sort of thing.
Yeah. We know she has at least one other queer client. So it's kind of like, how many queer clients do you have?
How many are you collecting? Yeah. Do you think it would change anything for you if you found out she was straight?
I think more in the search for a therapist. Do I consider their sexuality, I guess, where I'm like, I want a queer therapist so that I don't have to explain sort of what that feels like.
Yeah.
Having met her, worked with her, if she were to say otherwise, I'd be like, I wouldn't even care because it's been so natural to talk to her. It feels so good and comfortable that I wouldn't be like, oh my God, now that I found out this thing about you, I don't feel comfortable anymore. That wouldn't be the case. It's like, that is my barrier to entry. But beyond that, it's actually maybe a bad barrier to entry because it doesn't impact the way I feel in therapy. You know?
Yeah, no, I agree. She's been so phenomenal and good that if it turned out she was straight, I would be kind of surprised again, just because it seems like she's been able to navigate conversations around queerness so expertly. But yet, like, ultimately, she's been so good and helpful for us that, like, if she was straight, I'm not going to be like, oh, okay, well, this has to end. This really helpful thing now has to end because you were straight. I wouldn't be that insane.
Yeah, I think my fear, quote unquote fear, would be like if I were to talk to a therapist, bring up something like specific to being gay, and having them be like, oh, can you explain that to me? I guess is the fear. And she's never said that.
Not once.
I've also like never heard a therapist say that. So maybe that's not a thing.
Yeah.
But, you know, I've never experienced that with a therapist. So, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's not a thing. But it's a fear of mine that I'll have to say something and they'll be like, actually walk me through that. What does that feel like?
Right.
And I'm like, I don't want to do that part.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
what's been surprising for you, our couples therapy sessions? Has there been anything that's been surprising to you, pleasantly surprising or not so pleasantly surprising to you? Anything that sticks out when it comes to that?
Only good stuff that has been surprising. I didn't expect to feel so much like, it feels like the impact of having individual therapy. That's how it feels in our couples therapy, which I thought it was going to feel like we go here just to work on us.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to feel like, oh, I'm also just working on me also, which is like, I know it's a part of us, but it's like, I didn't expect that.
Yeah, that's fair. I think a lot of people feel the same way. And that, you know, I think that's good to highlight too, that couples therapy, in essence, because you are a part of the couple, the work, you're also doing a lot of individual work, kind of. It's like a byproduct of the couple's work, the individual work, because there's a lot of, you know, questions that each of us in a session will get individually. Like, Omar, where does that come from? Omar, I want you to try something different. Omar, where do you think you got that? Like, or learned that? Or tell me about why you think that way. And that is what feels like the individual piece of the couples therapy. It's never like, I don't know. It's never questions that are being asked to the both of us. You know what I mean? Like, we each get our time to hold the mic, so to speak.
Yeah, I feel the urge to be more specific because I feel like so often in any podcast or any media at all, it's like, oh, this is how you do it, right? When you feel this way, you do it that way. And it's like, well, what do you mean? So for us specifically, I feel like if we're talking about my anxiety, for example, we're talking about my anxiety, which is obviously about me, but it's like, so we have an argument about how we're spending money. And it's like, okay, well, why do you feel this way when you talk about money? And it's like, oh, okay, well, I feel this way because when I grew up, this is how money was talked about in my house and blah, blah, blah. And then you talk about yours and it's like, oh, those are two different things. So when we have a stressful conversation about money, I'm coming at it from a very different perspective of like, I don't know, money is finite, it's fleeting, and it's scary. And you're coming at it from a different perspective, which is also maybe tense and stressful, but it's
for sure
not because it's fleeting, but it's because, I don't know, that's what people argue about. So I don't want to argue about it. I don't want to think about it. And I'm obsessing over it. So it's like, So anyway, just, I guess to be more specific, I obsess over it. It's all I want to talk about. And it's like
money in general. Yeah.
And it's like, you don't want to talk about it at all. So then, of course, if we have to spend money as a couple, then we're going to have a little bit of a butting head situation where it's like, well, we both feel awkward or tense. And it's like, well, why? And then our couple service has helped us, I feel like, understand where the other person's coming from.
Yes.
You know, so
by way of understanding ourselves.
Totally.
Right. Like by way of helping her by way of helping her understand our individual perspective, it helps obviously like the other partner then understand like, oh, that's where that's coming from. Because for me, and we've talked about this in couples therapy. For me, money is like freedom and like security, yes, but more freedom and autonomy and agency. Whereas for you, I feel like it's a little bit more about like security and like the future, and it feels it's a little bit more like that. So definitely tense for the both of us and stressful, but for different reasons. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, totally. And yeah, I guess that is what I mean by like, it's felt like therapy for like myself, because I'm like, oh yeah, why do I get so angry or frustrated or anxious when we talk about money? And it's like, oh yeah, that's actually like what I should work on by myself, like, you know, independently of you, but also with you, because obviously like there are, as a couple, you spend money together. Spoiler alert. You have to do that.
As much as we try to fight it, I know. Yeah, I guess we have to spend money together. Fantastic. So I gave you a homework assignment.
Yes.
Which was essentially, we touched on this briefly. It was essentially to write down all of the questions and or comments that you've gotten over the years that we've been together regarding what it's like to date a therapist. So you go to a party, or you go to an event or whatever, and I come up, obviously, because you can't keep my name out of your mouth. And they're like, oh, what does he do? And you tell them they're a therapist, and boom, they have questions for you. So I actually haven't seen the questions, so I'm going to hear them in real time. So I am a little bit nervous, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Okay. What is question number 1?
Yeah. Okay. I did my homework, which was my questions. And then I also added a separate bonus assignment that I will be getting extra credit for.
We'll see about that.
Which is like things people don't know about dating a therapist.
So your extra credit is going to be sexual favors.
You got that?
No, we're not cutting that. I am the host. You can't decide what to cut.
I'll start with your actual assignment, which is the questions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the first one, this is like the dumbest one, but
oh my God, I can't wait.
It's just, what is it like dating a therapist?
Wait, first of all, I love that. It's short, it's sweet, it's concise.
Yeah,
I know exactly what they're asking. What is it like to date a therapist? So what is it like, Michael? It's absolutely tubular. You're like over here going, cowabunga, dude. Yeah. I love it so much.
For sure. Well, I think this is one of those loaded questions, not loaded questions, but it's one of those questions where people ask it being like, I already know what you're going to say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
you think you know, but you have no idea.
Exactly.
From MTV. Remember that? MTV, what is it? Diary of? What was the name of that show? Do you remember?
True
It was
Life?
like, no, that it wasn't True Life, but you're on the right track. It was like, you think you know, but you have no idea. This is the diary of Nelly Furtado.
That does sound very familiar.
Something like that. Yeah. Anyway, so what is it like dating a therapist?
I mean, I guess that goes into like things people don't know. But one of the main things, I guess I say at least, is I guess generally, because I'm an anxious person, I have definitely dated people who like have struggled with managing my anxiety. You know what I mean? So I feel like dating a therapist, there's a lot I almost don't even have to explain in terms of like how to be patient and like hold my hand, walk me through it a little bit, being anxious. And my anxiety is like definitely more, it's self-inflicted, I guess. It's more like, am I doing enough? Am I good enough? Do people like me?
More intrinsic than an external anxiety force or whatever. Yeah.
Okay. I feel like, to say anxiety is kind of like, it's too broad. So I guess for me specifically, it's like, am I good enough? Do people like me? Whatever. So that's where my like a lot of insecurity comes from, and I get stressed at work.
I like you so much.
Thanks. I believe that.
Good.
But I guess in dating a therapist, it's like I don't have to explain the parts of the anxiety. That it's like less confusing. It feels like it's less confusing to you when I say I'm anxious, and you don't ask me like, or you don't say like, well, then don't be anxious. Which I've had like literally people be like, well, don't be anxious.
Well, have you tried not?
Yeah, that. Yeah, like an incredible advice, by the way.
Yeah,
but I absolutely,
so helpful.
And I hadn't thought of it. But it's but so that's like number one thing is like you have been able to, like Omar understands my anxiety, and I don't have to explain to him parts of, that. So we can get to like core, like root issue stuff.
Yeah.
Versus like, stop sweating or something like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's
just
like,
breathe.
Yeah. So it's not as superficial, I feel like.
I think part of what you have, let me rephrase that. I'm assuming that part of what you pick up on or sense from me is my comfort with your anxiety. Because of my work, I'm comfortable with anxiety in general. And so when you come to me with saying like, I feel anxious because I'm really worried that like so-and-so is mad at me, or that so-and-so is disappointed with me. I'm never like, what? Like I am very, because of the work, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense to me. And then we're able to chat about it, which I feel like usually goes really well. Like in my experience, you just sort of need the space to talk about it and to talk it through, is how I experience your anxiety. Like, you're not necessarily looking for an answer. Like, here's how to fix it so you're not anxious. It's more like holding space for it.
Yeah, I'm nodding this whole time.
Yeah.
No, I think that's exactly it. Yeah. Past relationships or even like friends or whatever, like they don't
Past
always...
relationships? No, I'm kidding. I thought I was your first. Unbelievable. Can you believe this, audience?
Cut.
Audience. I'm gonna... The title of this episode is going to be cut. Okay. What is the next question or comment?
Okay. Question 2. Honestly, in no particular order, but does he psychoanalyze you or does he therapize you? Because I think people think therapize is a word, and I don't know if it's a word.
It's not a real word, but it's like...
people love it.
It's becoming... It's like, I guess, what's the word? Colloquial? That's probably not even the right... That's
but
probably not the word.
People use a wrong word so often that they're like,
then
okay,
it becomes,
fine, do whatever you want.
Yes, then it becomes... Like, bootylicious wasn't a real word, and then now it's in Webster's dictionary.
Sure,
you know what I mean? So I think it's like that. It's like the verb of giving someone therapy is to therapize. So I really like it. So.
Okay. People love saying it. Does he, therapize or psychoanalyze you?
Ooh, how do you answer that?
I think this is, okay, again, I think people are asking me this question thinking that they know the answer. So they're mad when I'm like, well, not mad, but when I say the opposite, they're like, whatever.
Yeah.
I think people assume it's impossible to like disagree or argue because you would win because you are psychoanalyzing me the whole time.
Which I do win. So maybe they're right.
So my answer is basically like either no, flat out, or like maybe no, but or if it's yes, it's like it's yes, but it's like together. Like if I'm mad and you're like, okay, well, you're understanding that I'm mad, but you're like, well, maybe that person is coming from this place. And like maybe they didn't actually mean that they don't want to like hang out with you.
Right.
Like you are just feeling sad because their priorities have changed and it doesn't fit. Like you, whatever. That kind of thing.
Right.
So like maybe the turns of a relationship have changed for me and a friendship maybe. And you like kind of explain that to me or like whatever. And sometimes it's what I need to hear and sometimes it's not what I need to hear. I guess maybe the answer is like, then yes, you are psychoanalyzing me, but it doesn't feel like I'm on the spot.
Right. You don't feel like I hope you don't feel like a client necessarily when I'm offering you a different perspective, which I don't necessarily, which isn't psychoanalyzing, right? Like in the purest definition of psychoanalyzing, offering you a different perspective isn't what that is, right? But like psychoanalysis isn't like, well, maybe he's coming from this place.
When they say they mean therapize, which they mean that does not anything.
I mean, it's one of those words that can mean so much and so little. Because if what they're saying is, oh, does he give you advice? Okay, well then everybody therapizes then. Like then your friends are therapizing you because your friends give you advice. You know what I mean? But I'm not therapizing you like sit down, like lay down on the couch. So when did you first start feeling this way? And tell me about your childhood. And it's not that, you know what I mean?
Right. But I think it's very like, if I say anything, they assume you say to me like, well, you're gaslighting me right now. And you're blah, blah, blah. All like the buzzwords from Instagram therapy. I don't think they actually mean psychoanalyze because they don't know what that means.
Yes. I don't think most people yeah, know in the stricter sense what that means. But yeah, I mean, if by helping, supporting, offering a different perspective or giving advice, if that's what they mean by therapizing, like, sure.
Which is like being a boyfriend.
But that's right. Yeah, that's just being like a supportive boyfriend.
Yeah.
So, well, sure.
Yeah.
What is next?
Okay, you're gonna hate this one.
Amazing. I'm cutting this out. So, so fire away.
Let's just say, quote, shouldn't he know better than to feel that way? End quote.
I
Cut.
am good. Let's run it back. Take it from the top. Well. Welcome to my podcast.
I don't have a boyfriend.
Today's episode's about being single. Stone cold single. Yeah, that is, you already know that. That is one of my pet peeves. One of my biggest pet peeves is absolutely that. And name them. Who said that?
Everyone's crying in here, not a dry eye in the house.
So the question or the comment, which is, shouldn't he know better? I feel like reflects
Than to feel that way.
Right. So basically, it's like, as a therapist, shouldn't he know better than to fill in the blank? Which I'm trying to, in my mind, like, this isn't a fully cemented thought, but there's something there that reminds me of the way that we look at therapists in pop culture as these sort of like containers of wisdom, or these like deified, idolized mythical creatures that have all the answers or have all the wisdom. And that's certainly not everybody, but I do think there's like a subset of the population that views therapists as that, almost like not human in a way, but like robotic or like mythical or something like that. I get the sense that reflects a lot of what's going on, what happens in pop culture, as we talk about therapists as a whole.
And I mean, I would even say like every doctor, like in anything, is like, doctors must know best. You know what I mean? And I feel like there's just like so many instances where even medicine is wrong. You know what I mean? And I feel like there's a lot of, in pop culture, it's like, well, they're a doctor, they're smart, they're successful. And it's like, well, what if they made a mistake? Or like, what if they were a person? And what if they had an off day? Or like, whatever.
Yeah, I do feel like doctors have come further along in media than therapists have. Like, you have, like, for example, Grey's Anatomy, this like mega hit show that does show doctors like cheating on each other and sleeping around and being reckless and whatever, violating HIPAA. I don't know, that I made that last part up. I don't know if any of them violated HIPAA, but definitely like crossing boundaries and flirting with boundaries and lines with like patients and stuff like that. Whereas therapists don't have that much like media footage of them being full human beings with like with the whole spectrum of like feelings that everyone else has.
I guess, to argue with myself, everyone has gone to the doctor. So even if it's like in the media, they're portrayed as blank, 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 everyone's gone to the doctor. Not everybody has gone to therapy. So I do think that therapists are like, they feel more like, I don't know, there's like more space between the average person and a therapist.
Yeah.
So when you watch Grey's Anatomy, you watch like anything with a doctor in it, you kind of know the vibe of a doctor's office.
Yeah.
But maybe with a therapist, you're like, well, I don't go to therapy, but my, distant relative, I heard had to go to therapy at some point, like, as a thing that's separate. Maybe not millennials, maybe not, I don't know, our friends go to therapy.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's like not as common. Like if you were to look at the percentages of people who go to regular, whatever, doctor, primary care physician versus therapy, I'm like, those numbers are different, obviously.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, and I guess like I do a little bit of that too. I mean, even the way that I spoke about our couples therapist and the way that we talk about Orna from the Showtime show Couples Therapy, we're like, oh my God, she's so good. She's so amazing. She's so perfect. And even though the show does does reveal like her own supervision, like her own process of getting help and getting support when navigating stuff with clients, even in spite of that, maybe even because of that, I feel even like that she's even like better or something like that. I don't know. Like in my mind, she's like up there as like a wow, she's really doing the damn thing. I certainly don't see myself that way. I'm like, oh, I'm just like this peasant. And then someone like Orna, I'm like, whoa, she is like top of her game. Like, holy moly. So again, I guess all I'm saying is I do a little bit of that too, of like assuming a lot of things or projecting a lot of things onto a therapist. Although I will say I would never say, shouldn't they know better? I would never say that about a therapist just because I know that that's just like not how it works. Like training in school and like life are two different things, you know, like what you learn from a textbook versus what you experience in your own life is just like very separate.
I mean, on one hand, I feel like I say that about anybody who's even not a therapist. Shouldn't they know better than to think that? And the answer is always for everybody. Like, well, you don't know how it felt because you're not me.
Yeah.
So it's not different for a therapist. Maybe a therapist has more tools, you know, in their arsenal, in their tool belt to like, oh, like I could access these, infinite tools to navigate through this stressful moment in my life.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're overwhelmed by emotion, you're not going to access those tools.
Right.
So it's like,
as readily at least.
Yeah. Yeah. And some people don't have them at all. They don't even know what those tools are.
Mm-hmm.
And just because you do have all of them doesn't mean you're going to be thinking so clearly that you know exactly which one to pull.
Right.
So I think it's just like, it's just funny it's just funny when people ask me that, because I'm like, well, in any career that you're ever in, when you apply it to your real life, you're like, oh, and then I fucked that situation up. I messed that one up. Oop.
Yeah. Is that how you generally respond to that? Shouldn't he know better? Yeah, right. You're probably like, yeah, you're right. He should know better.
No, I think I'm trying to think of like a specific example. I can just think generally right now, but
general is good.
General
is fine. I don't want you to be like, well, Sarah said.
Yeah. No. It's just like, I think I kind of, if it's with like my good friends,
mm-hmm.
I'm just like, oh, well, yeah, like, sure, maybe he knows, but also he feels this way. It's almost like he knows, but he feels.
Yeah. That's a good distinction.
Actually, that's the general answer I give. It's some version of course he knows, but he feels blank.
People forget that those two things happen.
Totally. Yeah.
The feeling and the thought, and that they're often at war with each other.
And I think it's interesting because if you were to picture going to school to become a therapist, are you picturing yourself learning to not feel? You know what I mean? Like if you were to like think, if any old person was going to go to therapy, are they going to walk out and then never cry again?
Right. Like, never be sad again. Never be angry again. No, 100%. Yeah. I mean,
so I don't think they're really thinking the question through, which is fine. But
and I don't begrudge anyone that, because, and this isn't a perfect analogy, but if I met a mechanic who wasn't changing the oil in their car, I would be like, oh, but isn't that like rule number one of being a mechanic? Like, wait, why aren't you doing that? Like, shouldn't you be doing that? Isn't that like a thing that every mechanic does? So I do understand like where that question, I guess, like, and I may be behaving too generously here, but there's like a part of me that's like, oh, I can kind of understand why someone would think that. I mean, again, it's way more complex than just like that. To your point, like, sure, there's the knowing, but there's also the pesky feeling part. But that's sort of how I think about it too. Just like, oh yeah, if a mechanic never changed their oil, I would also be a little bit like, don't you know better? Like, didn't they teach you this? So I kind of get it.
Yeah. And anything. There's like, I feel like a nutritionist, a doctor, whatever. Like, what do you mean you didn't have every single vitamin and the perfect balanced meals for every single thing you've ever done? What are you talking about? Like,
exactly. And the nutritionist is like, I love bacon. Let me eat bacon. That sort of thing.
Exactly. Do you guys ever fight, or is it hard to argue with you?
That
like
I
based on
find
the same thing.
that I find really interesting is it's so hard to argue with me because I guess you said this already. What they mean is it's so hard to win an argument with me, which is an interesting tell, right? Like that's I find that to be kind of telling to think of it in terms of winning or losing versus problem solving or collaborating or teamwork, something like that. Do you know what I mean? Do you agree?
No, yeah, definitely. I don't even. I feel like everything I said almost can be construed as like very condescending, but I don't mean it that way at all. But like, it's
what makes you say that?
Like, oh, I dated a therapist, so I know everything, and you guys don't know anything. But that's not what I'm trying to say.
No,
but like, I think the same way. Like, who won the argument? Which is like, oh, you're dating a therapist. They must be like very equipped to win an argument,
as opposed to like, oh, they must be equipped to navigate conflict really well.
Yeah,
that's what I find so fascinating.
Right.
Is
that's what they mean? Maybe, I don't know.
Well, no, I mean, I think what they mean is
like
or rather
what
it's reflecting is I think what it's reflecting is our relationship to conflict and the way we view conflict as an either or thing. It's like it's something to litigate, it is something to win, it is something to triumph over versus something to navigate and explore. You know what I mean? And that, for better or for worse, I'm not saying like they should go to prison for thinking that. I am saying that like, oh, isn't that interesting? It is like reflecting something. It is telling. So how do you respond to that question? This idea of like, oh, it must be hard to argue with him.
Yeah. I guess I should have thought about my answers. For sure.
Yeah.
I was so proud of myself for writing them down. So that's where that ended. Okay, I can't think of a specific answer that I have given, but it's also like sometimes you are just fighting because you want something. And even if it's like not the right or wrong, or it's the most reasonable answer, it's like, I just want that thing. I don't care. So it's, if I was the most perfectly rational and logical person, then maybe I'd be like, oh yeah, it's hard to win an argument because I'm not always the most rational and logical person. I don't know.
Sure.
So it's like, no, of course we still fight because we're both still people.
Yeah.
And I am still a big part of this argument.
Right.
So I'll bring it up or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
What's a better, I'm trying to even think of a good example of that. But
well, you don't have to get into specifics. Jesus.
I know. I just feel like being nebulous is like not helpful, or like being vague is not helpful. So I'm trying to think of like a specific thing.
Our couples therapist called my ass out for finishing your sentences during our first session. Do you remember that? Yeah. I was like, oh shit, she is good. She's not taking any of my shit.
Yeah.
So I don't want to put words in your mouth, but let me try this way. Do you find it difficult or challenging to have conflict with me? In what ways might the answer be yes, it's challenging? And in what ways might the answer be like, no, it's not that challenging?
Okay, but it's hard for me to have conflict with anybody. So that's what's tricky.
That is true. And he is working on that with his therapist, everybody. So relax.
You're like, it's like I'm a Libra. I'm like, I don't know, kind of middle child. I don't know. It's a lot of people pleasing.
A lot of people pleasing. Yeah.
So it's like that is a whole other thing. I guess, I mean, that's literally my point from before, which is just like, I am also present in this. So
right.
Yes, of course we fight because I'm there and I'm bringing my own shit into this. But yeah. I mean,
can I interject here? So I find arguing with you, the quality of argument is some of the best arguing I've ever done. It's definitely the best arguing I've done in a relationship. Like conflict with you and arguing with you isn't without tension, because that's what conflict is. It's contentious, which is norm core and fine. But I always feel respected and like, I always get the sense that you are being considerate and thoughtful. And I feel like respected by you.
I feel like whenever we're arguing, it's definitely it feels less like one of us is trying to get a jab in or something like that. So that's definitely true. But even I guess I'm like trying to shoehorn my point in from before, which is just like you're watching TV, I have to do things like, well, there's kind of a tension and like maybe an argument around that. And it's just like, we're still, of course, going to have differences of what we want to do in a certain moment. That's always going to happen. Yeah. Yes. So it's like, no, you can't avoid not being on the same page at all times.
Right.
But yes, to your point, it's like, but the way we go about saying like, hey, I actually like need to do this other thing, or like, can you put your headphones on, or can you watch TV in the other room? Like that's always going to happen, I guess. So I think that's maybe more my point, which is like, of course we still fight because we're two different people living two different lives in the same space.
Right. So, sharing a life. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that's maybe more my point. But yeah, the kind of fights and arguments are less, I don't know, hurtful or like traumatizing.
Yeah.
Than other fights have felt with other friends or family members or relationships.
What do you think people mean when they say, is it hard to argue with Omar?
I do think they mean, is it hard to win?
Is it hard to win? Okay.
I do think that's what the case. Yeah.
Okay. And so,
like, if they're like, let's.
Is it hard to win? Is it hard to win? So how would you answer that then? Like, okay, so maybe more like succinctly, is it hard to win an argument with Omar? How would you answer that?
Yeah. I mean, I would say no.
Right.
It's hard to win a fight, or like it's hard to win an argument if I back down or if I like fold too easily.
Right.
But that doesn't have to do with you. You know what I mean?
Right. So, right. Yeah. I mean, I think part of why I can tell you're like having a difficult time answering the question is because I think the problem is the question itself. Do you know what I mean? I think
that way with most of these, I'm like, it's like dating a person. Right. I don't know what to say.
Yeah. It's just another person. It's like, no, I mean, is arguing hard with Omar? Well, not any harder than it is with anybody else.
Kind of is
right?
Like
it's like, yeah, it's hard because when you're feeling tense or when you're feeling sad or when you're feeling angry, navigating that with a partner who's also feeling tense or sad or angry is like, oh shit, like how do we hold space for both of these things? How do we de-escalate? Yeah. How do we like navigate it when we're both angry about something or sad about something and we're both like, no one's right or wrong. In fact, most of the time we're like both right because it's like, oh, I'm sad about this thing. And I'm like, well, I'm sad about this thing. Both of those things are true. So then how do you navigate conflict around that? It has nothing to do with winning, essentially. And so I think the phrasing of the question is what makes it difficult to answer. But like, it's hard. Fair. It's hard. It's hard when Mike is really upset about something and I'm like, okay, Omar, validate him, like hear him out. Like you need to see that you need to empathize with him. You need to put yourself in his shoes. You need to understand that he loves you and cares about you. And, you need to hear him out. To do that when I am also upset and I am like, wait, but what about my sadness? Is challenging the way that it would be challenging with anybody, though. It's not particularly challenging with you, I would say. In fact, I would say it's easiest with you because I feel like we're both being mindful of that thing that I just said, which is like, oh yeah, the other person is sad too. Or, oh, right, the other person has their own insecurities and anxieties that they're grappling with, like that sort of thing. Do you agree with the fact that it's like hard, but easier?
Yeah, to my earlier. Yeah. I mean, like, I feel like I said that a little bit with the first, or in the beginning. Just
okay. As per my last email, don't ask per my last email.
No, I'm tying things back.
Full circle.
Just like you, like, yeah, when I was talking about you understanding my anxiety and I don't have to explain that part, it's like, yeah, sure. When we're in an argument or having a fight, it's like, oh, well, you are more aware of where I'm coming from.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's what I'm applying to this.
Okay.
It's a call back. I mean, I have the last question I have for questions, and then I did my extra credit. But my last thing for questions is the same thing, which is just like more of like they assume you're like perpetually cool, calm, collected, which I think has to do with like when they say, do you ever fight? Is it hard to win an argument? I think they are assuming that you are 100% cool, calm, collected. All your thoughts are in order. And when we engage in an argument, that they're like, oh, well, he must have been like done because he already thought about his perspective and he is done and you are showing up being a crazy mess. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, so that's another element that might be the other thing. It's not necessarily, it must be hard because Omar always wins. Maybe it's also, it must be hard because he must always show up kind of like quote unquote like prepared, like and organized and eloquent and calm.
Right.
Do you think that that's maybe also part of it too? Or part of what they mean when they say like it must be so hard?
Yeah, I think all three of these questions, like, do you fight? Is it hard to win? Is he always cool, calm, collected? I think they're all the same thing, which is just like, a therapist must have their house in order.
Yeah.
So if you're feeling a type of way, it must be really hard to get anywhere with them because they're done. And it's like, no.
Well, my house is done. So
yeah.
I don't know what you mean by that. My house is in absolute order.
Exactly.
Okay. So how the hell do you respond? Now I got to hear this. So how do you respond to that? How do you respond to that? Oh, his house must be in order. He must be cool, calm, and collected.
I'm just laughing.
Yeah. I bet you are. I bet you're giggling.
Yeah. No, I'm just laughing. I love to laugh. Cut. No, I'll stop saying that.
Don't.
I know,
it's title of that.
So good.
Okay, well, I didn't say it's so good.
I mean, literally, I think I'm like, oh, of course not. That's how I think I say it.
Okay, that's
I think
fair.
I'm like, oh my God, of course not. Like, and then I say some version of he's a regular person, but maybe a bitchier version.
Okay, yeah. When you say maybe a bitchier version, you mean
maybe not. I don't know.
I mean maybe definitely a bitchier version.
Yeah. Some version of like, no, he's let's say as crazy as the rest of us.
I'll let you have that. I think I am. I am. I think that's fair. And I mean that I say crazy with love, meaning like I'm a human being. I'm just as human as everybody else. I'm just as nuts as everybody else, meaning like I'm just as human, not like I'm not any crazier or I'm not any less crazy than the average person, I feel like. Again, and like lowercase c crazy. I don't mean, mental health issues crazy, but just like, oh yeah, I experience the full range of emotions.
Yeah, I mean, I am not a therapist, so I don't know what makes a good therapist. But in my personal opinion of what makes a good therapist, it's like, when you can like kind of look at an interpersonal relationship objectively, you know what tools to apply and how to think it through and like whatever. And when you're in the situation, not that it's all bets are off, but it's like, it's a completely different thing. So to be a good therapist doesn't mean you don't get upset and short-tempered or whatever. It's like a completely different thing. So you can be, I'm giving every therapist permission to be a regular person with all of their feelings.
Oh my God, thank you.
You're so welcome.
Did you hear that, therapists?
Yeah.
Michael gave us permission.
But you can still be like, you can still be good at it without like, you can still be a regular person.
You make an excellent point, which is that the tools we're trained on using them on other people. The training isn't about how to use them on ourselves. We do, and we can, but that is not what we're taught how to do. So it's sort of like a barber knows how to cut other people's hair. They don't cut their own hair, or rather it's like not necessarily recommended. So it's not exactly the same, but it's similar in that it's a different skill set. Cutting someone else's hair versus cutting your own hair. Those are two separate skills. There's some overlap, of course. There's some things that you can, I'm sure, use, like skills you learned in your training that you can use on yourself. However, there are some like very stark differences between doing the two. And that's that's how I see it with therapy, offering an intervention or using a tool or helping someone else use a tool or offering it to them or training them on how to use a tool to manage an uncomfortable emotion is not the same process as applying it to yourself. Does that make sense? Do you think that's like a fair analogy?
Yeah, no, I think that's perfect. Yeah. What you do.
You think I'm perfect?
Exactly what I said. That's what it's like dating a therapist.
Magical.
Yeah.
I think that's what you meant by that.
No, but I think the barber thing or the like hairstylist thing, that's perfect because it's like you do know all the tools.
Right.
But it's like, but this is I'm probably going to fuck up this one part of it because it's in the back of my head.
Yeah. Exactly. It's like, oh yeah, I have this scissor, my tool, but like, right, I'm cutting the back of my head, but I can't see it. So it's blind. And like, I don't know. And like, if you use a mirror, then it's like backwards. It's like, right. It's just like a different experience.
Right. And I think, if push came to shove, a barber could cut their own hair. And I think they'd be like, yep, this is 90% of the way there. And I think 10% better would have been if somebody else helped me out.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It would have been 10% better if someone else used the tool on me. So
I had a thought about couples therapy, which you mentioned before.
Yeah.
Just like how much we like it and how helpful it's been. And when you were mentioning the barber thing, when you go to couples therapy, it is so interesting because I feel like I'm getting such a 360 view on certain situations. So like when I go to my individual therapy, I'm talking about my anxiety. When I go to couples therapy, I'm talking about the same anxiety, but it's like, okay, and now let's talk to the closest person in your life and how do they perceive your anxiety and how do they experience it? And I'm like, oh shit, I didn't even really like kind of think about those parts. And then it helps me reflect even more. So like I leave couples therapy and I'm like, oh, I need everybody in my life to go to therapy with a team of 5 friends. Because I'm like, that would be so helpful.
No joke, I absolutely agree. It is why I often tell people sleep on group therapy. And what you just said is the reason why I think more of us should go to group therapy, because it's that process that happens where you can, with the right therapist and in the right group. Obviously, you don't do this in any group, like a support group and stuff like that. They don't really do that. But like a process-oriented group, it's a lot of, if I say something and let's say you make a face, the therapist is like, oh, Michael, like I just saw you make a face at that thing Omar said. What's going on? Like, how did you perceive that? How did you receive that? It's like a similar thing where you have to process how someone else perceives you, receives you, reacts to you, stuff like that.
That is fascinating to me. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I just keep thinking about like in a perfect world, anybody who had any argument like with their family or with their friends, they'd all be able to sit down, all 10 of them, and they'd be able to have a perfect mediated conversation where everyone is understood. And obviously that's not going to happen.
I believe I read that indigenous people used to do that. That they used to, like, if there was like an argument, I don't know if it was like only big arguments or was it every argument, but apparently like in indigenous communities, the whole town would like stand in a circle and basically like the two people would be like, here's the deal, here's why I'm at. And everyone would like work together to essentially like help them mediate it. But it would be everybody. Yeah. So it's like, it's a similar process.
That is fascinating.
I think it is, at least. And I'm sure there's way more to it than that. I'm like bastardizing this, but I'm almost positive I've read that indigenous cultures did exactly that.
I mean, I'm fascinated by that. I feel like often, even in my own therapy, I will tell my therapist, like quote unquote, I know I'm giving you a completely biased view of this argument.
Yeah.
And my therapist obviously is aware of that.
Yeah.
But I like calling myself out on it.
That's
sometimes
good.
Because I'm like, oh, I know you only know about the people in my life from my perspective.
Right.
So don't I sound so correct? Aren't they so wrong? But anyway, I like couples therapy because I feel like you can't get away with certain things. Not get away with, but that is what I mean. You can't get away with certain things because you have somebody else in the room who is there not to check you, but to ground you in reality a little bit.
And like hold you accountable.
Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah.
Well, sorry, that was so off topic, but I wanted to go back to that. So I brought it up again.
Thank you. That's fantastic. What was the other thing you had on your phone? You
had
some
extra credit.
Yeah.
People I don't think they immediately think of dating a therapist. Oh, you must be dealing with somebody who has a lot of patience, which at least in my experience is true with you.
Phew. I was like, where's this going?
No, is that you have a lot of patience. So like you have a lot of patience with me. So I feel like I don't think people think of that first thing. Oh, when you're dating a therapist, they must have a lot of space to hold for your I don't know, problems, your stresses, your insecurities. Yeah. So that's something I don't think people think of.
That's so sweet.
The other thing is so fun to gossip with a therapist because they are going to cut a bitch down in ways that I've not even thought of because they have a degree in it. So I'm like, this person's so crazy. And you're like, actually, they're this crazy. This is the DSMR version of that, or like whatever that even book is.
What that even book is? Is that what you just said? What that even book?
DSMR like 3 or whatever.
The DSM.
What's DSMR?
That's so funny. Yeah, I agree. I think gossiping with me is really fun. Obviously, gossiping. I mean, I feel extra safe with you gossiping. So even like, well, no, that's not true. Not even, but you get like an extra special, like the unfiltered
director's
cut.
Okay, this one is fully self-serving.
Okay, I don't mind that. You can be self-serving.
Work. So you're gonna be like literally cut.
I can't fucking wait.
No, I just think it takes a specific kind of person to date a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
So on one hand, I'm like, oh, dating a therapist is just like dating anybody else. And on the other hand, I'm like, you actually need to be a certain kind of person to date a therapist.
Oh, I think that's fair.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair. I feel like are my emotional intelligence equal in a lot of ways. That's where my mind goes by certain type of person.
Yeah.
Like you have to get it. You have to really, be like almost like as egoless as possible. Like you really have to like,
I mean, just thinking of myself as egoless, I'm like, oh, work.
Oh, good. Yeah. I just like, yeah, I don't know exactly what I'm trying to say, but I do agree that there's like, it takes a certain type of person. You know what? I think I think you're really patient. I think you're really patient. I think you're really emotionally intelligent. You also really respect therapy a lot. Like the whole like you go to your own therapy. You tell your friends to go to therapy. You're not afraid of it. And maybe that's what it is too. It's like you're so familiar with therapy in the therapy world. And I think that has been very apparent to me. Like there's nothing that I do or say that you're like, it's like not foreign to you. A lot of the stuff I do and say, or a lot of my responses to you, like my reaction to your anxiety, you're not like, what is that? Like, why are you, you're not accusing me of therapizing you by just being that way. And I think because I have been accused of that before when I'm just like trying to be like helpful, or when I'm just trying to be like, oh, I think this way might be a more useful way. And you don't do that. You're like, oh yeah, this makes sense. You're not immediately defended or defensive by that because you're so familiar with it.
Yeah. I think I'm really curious about the way that like my brain works and how other people's brains work. I'm like really fascinated by that. And I think to be a therapist, to be a therapist means you are interested in how people's brains work. So that's what I'd say is like the kind of person it takes is like to date a therapist is somebody who, like, you have to have a baseline interest in how people think and feel and
for sure
how they move through the world.
Yeah.
And I do think I have that. Not to say like I'm the most empathic person in the world, but it's like I am curious.
For sure. I think that's totally accurate. Yeah. I would say you're very curious.
Yeah. I think that makes sense. And then, so it's great to date a therapist if you're curious about the human condition, mind and condition.
Yeah.
Because the therapist is like literally trained to think
doing
about
that. Right.
Yeah. So I have a note here that just says like, that I don't think Omar could date someone who's never been to therapy.
Oh my God, no fucking way. Oh, I'm sorry for anyone who hasn't been to therapy. Listen, it is not you. You are perfect. You are fine. That is a me thing, but you are absolutely right. I would not be able to date someone that had never been to therapy. And again, that is a me thing. I'm sure there are plenty of people out there that have never been to therapy that are perfectly lovely and wonderful human beings. It would have to take like a really exceptional person. Like I don't know. But off the top of my head, I'm just like, I don't think I would be able to. No.
Yeah. I mean, same. And I'm not a therapist, but I'm like, I don't think it could work. One thing that people don't know about dating a therapist is that, I mean, this is kind of maybe specific to Omar Torres, but after like a particularly busy day where he has like a lot of sessions, I can tell when you're still in therapist mode when I'm like trying to vent and you're like very on, and I'm like, no, take a beat. I'm just talking
Oh my
about.
God. You got me. You got me, girl.
So it's Wednesdays and Thursdays. No, I'm kidding. But any day where I'm talking to Omar right after he's had a session, I'm like, oh, no, you can turn it off real quick.
It's more like, no, you better turn it off real quick. So, I mean, I guess that's the other thing, right? It's this harkens back to the question of, does he ever therapize you? So I guess the answer is yes, based on what you just said right now.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
And then you're having to be like, girl, turn it off.
Yeah. I think it almost feels like no, he doesn't naturally. Yes, right. If it's on, it's on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely don't do it intentionally. I'm not like, it's time to therapize my boyfriend. But yeah, I guess if I don't have enough decompression time between my last session and when we talk, I'm still like, in that mindset. That makes sense. Yeah. Oh my God, I'm so impressed that you can tell when
Adoy.
Shut up. Adoy. I am so impressed that you can tell. Oh my God, another thing too, I don't know if I told you this, Mike, but who were you telling? You were telling someone. You were telling someone that you can tell when someone comes to me to talk to me about their problems, that you can tell when I am like actually like in quote unquote therapist mode versus like phoning it in therapist mode. I forgot who it was that you were telling that to, but when you said specifically like, when Omar does this, when Omar says and does this, that means he is like very engaged and like present and actively listening and all that stuff. When Omar does and says this, he is phoning it in. And I was like, damn, he's got my number. That's exactly right. And do not say what those things are, Mr. I want everything to be specific.
No, I definitely know your catchphrases.
Do you remember that conversation? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I do.
Okay. I can't remember.
I know your catchphrases for when it's like it means sure girl, but it doesn't. It's not sure girl.
Right.
It means that,
yeah.
But you sound way more enthusiastic and as if you're agreeing with them. And I'm like, He says that when he's not agreeing with you, but that's okay.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I kind of love / am terrified that you pick up on that stuff from me.
Yeah,
for sure. I hate it.
I don't know if this is going to translate to be a funny joke on a podcast, but when we were at a bar and we asked this guy what he was drinking, and it was like some crazy like it was like a smoky mezcal cocktail, and it looked really pretty. And Omar was like, "What is that?" And he was like, "Oh, it's like this smoky mezcal, whatever." He walks away. Oh, and Omar's like, "Oh my God, I have to get that next. That's like a must." Like I walks away and I go, "Don't you hate smokiness and mezcal?" And he goes, "Yeah." It's a very like, so that version of must for a drink he does not want is exactly what I mean when I'm like,
well, because he was so happy to tell me what it was, and I really didn't want to rain on his parade.
Yeah.
But then, he walks away and you go, "Don't you hate mezcal?" And I go, "Oh yeah, I can't stand the shit. I think it's disgusting."
Yeah.
But to him, I was like, "Oh my gosh, that is the most amazing drink ever. I'm going to order 10 of them. I'm going to marry that drink."
It's very,
that drink is,
if you like that sounds so exciting, but it's not for me.
Yeah.
I do kind of like mezcal, but it's like, has to be a specific moment. Yeah.
Never know mezcal.
But it's that version of that, but like for other things. But
yeah.
Anyway, I had one friend ask, why don't
How big is it? No.
Yeah. Okay. No.
I'm dating a therapist. Oh, cool. How big is it?
Yeah. The first question.
Common question. You get that question all the damn time.
No, is why don't therapists offer 5-packs? They just want to go for like a second.
Wait, that is so funny. Oh, I just want to go for a second.
Yeah, so it's not really about dating a therapist, but in general, why don't they offer 5 packs?
Oh, because the therapeutic process is so painstakingly long. The second I figure out a therapeutic intervention where it only takes 5 seconds and you are better. Sessions. Oh, what did I say? Seconds?
Yeah.
Okay, seconds and sessions. Yeah. Honestly, either, whichever comes first. I will be a billionaire. I'll tell you that much, but not the bad kind of billionaire.
The Rihanna kind.
Yes, I will not exploit people, and I will help the world with my billions of dollars.
Perfect.
Michael, I adore you.
Love you.
You are one of my favorite people on this planet. I think you keep me so grounded. I see how much you care about this relationship and how much you care about me. And yeah, I feel so lucky to be your boyfriend.
Oh my God. Me too. I love you so much.
Thank you for being on the pod. How do you feel being on the how was this? This was your first radio interview.
Yeah. First radio interview. It felt great. It was easy.
Good.
Thank you.
You're going to get more. By the way, Michael is an amazing artist, and I'm just trying to get him to be more public about it. And eventually he will be, and then people will be like, be on my podcast. But I was the first one. I was your first.
My debut. Thank you.
All right, everybody. Even though I am a therapist, this podcast is no substitute for good old-fashioned therapy. So take what's useful, leave the rest, and don't forget, therapy makes you hotter. Bye.